Monday to Friday at 12:30 p.m. only on Bloomberg Quint.
Hello and welcome to Hot Money on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our technical experts today, Dyaneshwar Padwal of KIFS Securities, Ashish Chaturmurthy of Sanctum Wealth, and Aditya Agarwala of Yes Security join us on the show. Thank you to all for joining me on the show. But before we take the guest technical call, let's go across to Jayesh Khilnani, who tells us about a pattern that the Bloomberg terminal has thrown up on Diwan Housing. So, Jayesh, on to you. What is the chart showing?
So Darshan, there's a conditional buy indicator on Diwan Housing. Now, why do I say conditional is because the price has to close above the trender line, which is a Bloomberg proprietary indicator, which uses the concept of average true range as one of the key inputs for calculation. It helps you to generate buy and sell signals by looking at the color of the indicator. So you buy when the indicator flips from red to green, and you sell when it flips from green to red. And if you see the chart of Diwan Housing, what you have over here is the red line, the red horizontal line. That is the trender indicator. And if you see today's candle, that has in fact breached above this red line. Now what this means is that either this trender indicator can act as a resistance and we can see a downward revision in prices, or else if the price closes above this trender, the red line, that is when you will actually have a buy signal. So watch out for this one. If it closes above it, it is a buy signal, and historically it has worked well, Darshan, because in the past 1 year there have been 5 instances where the buy signal has been generated. 4 out of those 5 have resulted in a profitable trade, and each of the trades has given you an average return of just about 6.5% over the next coming 10 days.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Diwan Housing. We'll ask our technical expert whether they agree to it or no. Ashish, I'll start with you. The Bloomberg terminal is showing, according to the trender indicated, Diwan Housing could head higher. What are your charts indicating?
Definitely, Darshan, it's looking very promising, because if you look at in general the NBFC, stocks are showing very strong uptrend, and now Indiabulls Housing Finance has already been in a very strong uptick. Generally, both these names, DHFL and Indiabulls Housing Finance, they move in tandem, and post IBULL Housing Finance move, I think DHFL has also seen a very strong volume activity in last 2 trading sessions. If you look at on the weekly chart, 605, 610 is a very, very strong support. Keeping that in mind, I think one can initiate a long positions. On upside, I see a strong possibility of DHFL crossing 660, 665 mark in a very short term.
Okay, 660, 665 is the potential on Diwan Housing. Aditya, you agree, or you have a different view on Diwan Housing?
No, I would agree. Stock is very strong on charts as far as the technicals are concerned. Volumes have been good of late. RSI is suggesting that the uptrend is still intact, so it took support at the 40 and then just reversed from that level, which is a very strong sign. Just a minor hiccup at 630. If it crosses 630, I'm looking at a target of 680 and probably new highs. On the weekly chart, it's just consolidating in a narrow triangle. So the moment it breaks out of that triangle, it's definitely headed to new highs.
Okay, so 2 thumbs up that are coming in from technical analyst. Will it be a 3rd thumbs up, Dyaneshwar?
Yeah, of course. If you talk about the DHFL, so if you go to the higher time frame, mainly on weekly charts, so we have seen that the Diwan Housing is unfolded into the corrective pattern, and it has taken a very important support where the Fibonacci retracement comes under the level of 580, and the recent move suggests that the renewed strength is clearly observed in this chart, and the intermediate resistance placed near 650. So I would suggest once the bulls take out this 650 level, so we may see that the DHFL may march into the uncharted territory.
Okay, so it's a consensus positive view that's coming in on Diwan Housing Finance. The Bloomberg terminal also shows that. So we'll watch out. So it's a positive view. But now let's start with Hot Money Technicals. Let's discuss our first stock right now. So Ashish has suggested the first stock, and that is Pidilite. If we can have the chart on the screen, Ashish, can you join me here and explain what exactly are the targets and what are you using on this?
So Darshan, as you can see that, if you see the rally from this level of 845 to an all-time high zone of almost 1195, 1200, the stock saw a 50% retracement of this entire up move and has formed a double bottom formation, close to a double bottom formation, one here and second here.
Okay.
And post consolidating, it has given a breakout on the daily charts in a very short term time frame. If you look at it, has also taken support at 100-day moving average on a weekly chart, so that is also a very positive sign, which indicates stock has a potential to cross the previous all-time high, which is around 1195. And if you look at the way it has consolidated from 1195 to almost $1,000, at least a 50 to 70 rupees upside from an all-time high levels could not be ruled out in a very short-term time frame. So we are expecting a target of around 1250 in a very short-term time frame, and I think 1070 should be kept as an important support level, which is last this 2 weeks low. So keeping 1070, I think this stock should be initiated as a buy.
So you're saying 1070 should be the stop loss?
Yeah.
Okay, and if the all-time high is crossed, do you see more for?
Yeah, minimum 1250 is what I am projecting, but it should be much higher. But based on how the volume action happens, how the open interest activity gets built on, we can revise our upside targets. But immediate target would be around 1250.
So which is the technical indicator you have used here, and what is the potential timeline that you're suggesting this strategy
so
for?
I think if you look at the consolidation which has happened, and post that we have seen and also there is an inverted head and shoulder being formed in the stock. So these are the shoulders, this is a head, and there's again a shoulder. So generally speaking, it will take minimum a month, minimum 2 to 3 weeks to cross 1250 kind of levels. As far as indicators are concerned, if you look at even the stock has taken a very strong support around a 100-day moving average. So that is also a very positive indication for this stock.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. Thanks so much, Ashish. Aditya, your view on Pidilite. Aditya, Ashish is very bullish. What's your view?
Definitely, stock has been in a strong uptrend, but post that sharp up move which we had seen from Feb, March onwards, stock has entered into a minor consolidation phase right now. So I don't see too much of an immediate upside in the stock. Probably stock can resist close to about 1150 to about 1200 zone. On the downside, definitely 1080 to 1070 is a good support zone. If the stock breaks that, then probably stock will enter into a corrective mode. So far, stock is still in a bull trend. It's just a consolidation phase that's going on. Probably once the consolidation is over, it can resume its uptrend.
Okay, and Dyaneshwar, what's your view on Pidilite?
Yeah, if you talk about the Pidilite, I will give the thumbs up, because recently we have seen that the stock has given a pullback, and in this week stock has made a very aggressive bullish candle, so that could be act as a reversal pattern. So I would go for Pidilite.
Okay, so Pidilite, a bullish call coming in from Pidilite. The next stock we want to talk about is Kaveri Seeds. Aditya, you can join me. We can pull up the chart and what it is indicating at this point of time. It'll take a while, but yeah. So it's a weekly breakout, that's what you're saying. 595. What's the chart?
So if you can take a look at the chart, it's founding a rounding bottom on the weekly chart. There was a sharp fall post from the all-time highs of 700. From there, stock has entered into a good consolidation phase. It's on the verge of a breakout from the neckline of that rounding bottom pattern, which is close to about 609 to about 610. So the moment it closes above 609 to about 610, it almost touched that level today, but it's not broken out yet. So the moment it breaks out of that zone of 609, 610, it will be headed to 650, 680, and definitely it can test 700 also. Also, take a look at the RSI on the weekly chart. It's broken out, so it's taken support at 40, and from there it's turned upwards. Now it's on the verge of a range shift into the bull trend. So these are showing signs that the trend for the stock is moving from a bear trend to a bull trend.
Okay.
Stock can enter that territory. The moment RSI closes above 50 as well, stock will enter into the bull trend and it will hit targets of 650, 680 very shortly.
Okay, 650, 680. What's the stop loss that you're recommending? Are you recommending averaging on this one?
Yeah, somebody can go ahead and average at current levels also. I'm recommending a stop loss close to about this low, which is close to about 530 to about 540 zone. That's a good stop for the stock. And buy at current levels, average. So average, I would suggest buy at current levels and average more the moment stock closes and starts to trade above 609.
Yeah, so I just want to know how did you get this 609? What's the rationale?
this is the high of so this is the neckline of the rounding bottom. So if you can see, the stock is rounding bottom.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a bottoming out pattern for a stock, and the high for the this candle is 609.
Okay.
So if I draw a straight trend line, horizontal trend line, it comes to about that zone. So it's almost on the verge of a breakout. It did today.
It's hit today.
Yes,
What
and it's just fallen back slightly
so
on
if it fails to cross the 609 for the next few sessions, what do you recommend?
I would still hold on till this level is broken down, till the low of the previous candle,
which will be close
to about 540 to about 530 zone.
Okay, so it's a bullish call on Kaveri Seeds. Dyaneshwar, what's your view on Kaveri Seeds?
Yeah, if you look at the this weekly chart, so you could find out the head and shoulder pattern over there, and it has broken the head and shoulder pattern, and rightly said the stock is moving towards the north. So I would suggest the neckline, if you calculate the neckline towards the head, so that should be your ideal target.
Okay, so that's the view. And Ashish, would you agree? Would you buy Kaveri Seeds at these levels, or you have a different view?
So I'll wait for a breakout about 605. Once that happens, I think then there can be a strong short covering which can take the stock towards the recent, the previous highs, which is around 690 odd zone. But for that, I think a clear breakout about 605 is what I would be waiting for.
Okay, so again, it's not it's a bullish call that's coming in on Kaveri Seeds, but 605 to 609. Watch out for those levels. If those levels get breached, aggressive buying can be seen on Kaveri Seeds. So that's something that we'll watch out for. Dyaneshwar, you're recommending a buy on Marico. Yeah, you can join me here. You're recommending a buy on Marico. We'll pull up the chart. What's the chart? What's the rationale that you're talking about?
Yeah, if you actually we are analyzing the stock basically on the basis of the top-down approach. First of all, we go to the indices like a Nifty consumption. So in the relative rotation graph tells about that the Nifty consumption index is moving into the leading quadrant, where the relative strength and the momentum is very high. So if the indices is marching towards the north, so I have pulled out the Marico from that indices, and if you look at the overall chart structure of Marico, so it is moving into the accelerating channel where it has got the breakout at the level of near about 350. And if you compare with the oscillators, so I have used the oscillator of RSI, where the RSI is also getting a breakout, trend line breakout. After the breakout, RSI will get moved towards the north, and it will add strength to the underline. Can you pull out the ratio charts? Yeah, in case of Marico on the monthly chart, this is the relative strength comparison index, where we are comparing Marico with the Nifty consumption indices. Okay. So whenever if you look at the overall chart structure, so whenever we got the breakout, so Marico has outperformed the key benchmark index, that is Nifty consumption. And recently we are observing the same pattern over here. We are getting the breakout on the relative strength comparison. So I personally feel that the Marico would outperform the Nifty consumption itself. So that's the bet. So
this is basically what you're saying is that this is the ratio between Marico and the FMCG index. Marico is outperforming. The higher the index goes, it's better for Marico. That's well this thing. What's the target? It's already trading at lifetime high, close to lifetime high.
Yes, of course. It is marched into the uncharted territory.
So what kind of levels, what kind of breakout can this give?
So in case of Marico, we are I'm expecting that the near about 15 to 20% gain into the Marico.
Okay. Any stop loss that you're recommending?
Yeah, I'm recommending stop loss near about 300 and
I think that'll be in the other chart, but let's try to pull that out. But it's 360 currently. Yeah, this is the chart.
Yeah,
you can come here and explain the stop loss.
Okay,
it's fine.
Here we got the breakout, and we are keeping a stop loss of this breakout candle.
Okay.
So it comes to near about 330 levels.
330 is. Thank you so much, Dyaneshwar. Ashish, Marico, what do you make of the counter?
No, so I'm very positive on this stock. So I'll tell you the reason. So if you look at what he explained, it was so apart from that, one important factor is that stock has been consolidating for 11 months, and then we have seen this kind of significant breakout. Now if you recall what has happened to Britannia after it consolidated for many months, then you have seen a very spectacular up move coming into Britannia. Same has happened with Hindustan Lever, Nestle, and after while I think the second rung FMCG stocks are showing strength, and within this Marico, and second name I would like to add is Godrej Industries. So these two names are really showing very strong uptrend, and Marico definitely I would agree with him that if the stock performs, it is going to be a minimum of 10 to 15% kind of upside from these levels. And the previous the breakout level was around 345, 347. So I would like to keep a smaller stop loss, which is around 345. So with 345 as a stop loss, I see a possibility of stock crossing 400 mark in a short to medium term.
Okay, so that's the second thumbs up that we're getting in for Marico at this point of time. And Aditya, what did you make of Marico? Are you also bullish?
Extremely bullish on the stock. So I'll give you just a couple of points out here. On the monthly chart, plot a 20-period moving average. Every time Marico corrects, it takes support at that 20-period moving average, bounces back, and post a sharp up move in Marico consolidates for 5 weeks. So it's been happening from 2017, from 2015, post and up move, Marico consolidates for 5 weeks, resumes its uptrend. Again, it consolidates for 5 weeks, resumes its uptrend. So the recent breakout is post 5-week consolidation. The trend, the fractal pattern is intact. It's taken strong support at 20 monthly moving average. Very bullish on the stock.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Marico. Let's move on to the next stock on the round 2. Ashish has recommended Arvind here, so he's rather bullish on it on the weekly charts. Let's pull up the chart, Ashish, if you can explain to us what it's a bullish MACD crossover that he's recommended. Yes,
yeah, so first of all, if you look at the MACD, it has just crossed the equilibrium level, which is a very positive indication. Second important aspect is we have to also see the comparison level. So if you look at Arvind's correction from the all-time high, which was around 480, 490 zone to almost 380, it was just 20-22% kind of correction, whereas the mid cap as a basket saw very significant correction. It was a stock which saw correction, and post then it has been consolidating for many months. Technically speaking, it has also formed a double bottom formation on the weekly and monthly chart frame. Although the breakout is yet to come, but if you look at the volume action, which is the last bar on the downside, which indicates that the volumes have increased significantly on an uptick from 400 to almost 432. So which clearly indicates that the possibility of this breakout above 435, 436 is very high. And once that happens, a minimum of the difference between 435 to 380, that is almost 50-55 rupees kind of jump from those levels could be expected on upside, which will indicate that the stock can positionally target the previous all-time high. And we have observed whenever a stock hits a previous all-time high, a minimum of 5-6% from those levels on upside is being seen. So technically, I think 500 is a target we are expecting in Arvind Limited, and on downside I think 415 sorry should be kept as an trading stop loss.
Okay, 415. What's the time frame that probably you're looking at again reclaiming the highs?
So I think this 480, 500 should happen within 3 to 4 weeks time frame.
Okay, what's the difference between here also the counter moved and then corrected? What is so different in this?
That's what I said, that it just formed a double bottom formation. So if it's the same has happened with Pidilite also. If you remember last week when I was on this show of on Chartist, you had recommended Pidilite as a Bloomberg call, but it didn't move in a single go. So it formed a double bottom, and then finally, so the strength of the stock becomes more stronger once you see a double bottom formation on the charts.
Okay, so Pidilite, what target approximately are you seeing?
So Arvind Limited, I'm expecting a target of 500 level.
Okay, 500. So that's the view. Thanks so much, Ashish. Aditya, what's your view on Arvind?
Stock is in an uptrend. So a couple of days back, stock moved sharply on good volumes. So it's now entered into minor consolidation. For me, the first target will be 445 on Arvind. The moment it crosses 445, then I'll be looking at a larger target of 500 that Ashish just spoke of. And stop loss will be 420. It's more into sideways right now. So if it breaks out of 445, definitely there's a W pattern breakout also on the charts.
Okay, so Aditya agrees that it's a double bottom chart that Ashish has put out. And Dyaneshwar, do you share the same view?
Yeah, of course, if you look at the overall weekly chart, so it is moving in a clear uptrend, and recently we have seen that the stock has unfolded into the corrective pattern, wherein the intermediate resistance placed near 445, so in the proximity of 61.8% Fibonacci retracement. So I would wait for the bulls to take out the 445 level. So after that we may see the stock may march into the uncharted territory.
Okay, so I think the consolidated view that we're getting on Arvind at this point of time is that 445 is an important level that you need to watch out for. It's mainly in the consolidation phase. If it moves up, it will probably go into uncharted territories. The next stock we want to talk about, and this is Aditya's recommendation, Petronet LNG is one of the stock which has been trading rather healthy on the healthy side with volumes. You can see volumes have been picking up, but what's the view here?
So if you can clearly look from the chart, this is a weekly chart. Stock has broken out from this. Yes, from the channel, volumes have been extremely strong today. Plus, stock was into a minor consolidation. So it was into the consolidation from 250 odd levels from almost November 2017 onwards till this point of time. Now it has broken out from that channel. The bull candle is extremely big in size, as you can clearly see. Plus, the stock has taken support at a crucial 89 period weekly moving average, and from there stock has bounced back. RSI plus has made a positive reversal on the weekly chart. What is a positive reversal? When price makes a lower low, but RSI makes a price makes a higher low, RSI makes a lower low. So that tells you that there's strength in the stock, because the price didn't make a higher price made a higher low, but RSI made a lower low, which tells you that stock went into a oversold zone when the price didn't correct so much. So that's a bullish sign for the stock. So I recommended at 225. It's already close to about 231, 232 right now. I'm looking at a target of 265 to about 270 on the stock.
What's the stop loss that you will keep?
207 will be my stop loss.
207. So basically what I'm trying to guess is that this is the line that you created, and the candle has gone above this line. How long should it stay above the line for you to get
just close above this? So tomorrow will be the weekly closing. It should just close above this tomorrow.
Okay, and if it doesn't, then would you reverse your call?
No, I won't reverse the call, because of the magnitude of the candle that we are seeing right now, and the volumes have been extremely healthy, more than the average volumes that were traded in past few weeks. So that these are all bullish signs for me. I would not reverse my trade until and unless I break this high with this low, of which is close to about 220.
Okay, so if it goes below 220, your call is over. Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. Watch out for if 220 is broken, the call is null and void. That's the stop loss that you need to keep on. Dyaneshwar, do you have a view on Petronet?
Yeah, of course, I am agree with the same. As you look at the weekly chart, so stock has given a bullish flag breakouts, and this week stock has really outperformed the key benchmark index, and when the breakouts come, so stock basically moves towards the north. And I personally feel that as long as it holds the first line of defense near about 220 level, so it would continue to march towards the north side.
Okay, so 220 is an important level, and Ashish, what levels on Petronet are you seeing?
Yeah, so quite positive. I think on upside 242, 243 is an immediate short-term target which we are expecting in Petronet, and it's a major breakout about 225. So I think would like to keep 225, 224 as a trading stop loss.
Okay, so 220 is an important word, but an important word, Petronet LNG will come out with its numbers today. So that's what we need to watch out for. And Dyaneshwar, let's pull up the last stock that has to be discussed today ahead of what Jayesh will say. Berger Paints. It's a triangle breakout. What you're recommending? Explain the chart, please.
Yeah, of course. If you look at the indices also, it's again comes to the consumption sector. It is moving in a leading quadrant and having a great strength. So Berger Paints is coming in that indices only. And if you look at the overall chart structure of Berger Paints, mainly on higher time frame on monthly, so it has given a ascending triangle breakout on the price. And if you can observe the chart, so after giving a breakout, stock has tested the trend line, and the renewed strength has been clearly observed in Berger Paints. So I would recommend to go long in Berger Paints. Simultaneously, if you look at the RSI, so RSI has also given a breakout. Whenever the RSI has given a breakout, which eventually push RSI on a higher level, which would add strength to the underlying. So I would recommend to go long in Berger Paints by keeping a stop loss of near about 295 on closing basis, having a target of 355.
Okay, it's already trading at lifetime highs. What kind of potential upside are you seeing on the counter?
See, it is moving into the uncharted territory. So I would suggest to you can take this overall.
You can come here and explain.
Yeah, you can take this much of target as the pattern says, because it is a continuation pattern, and the basic target for the pattern would be at this level. So I am accordingly I am take this gap towards the next level. So it comes to near about 355, 360 level.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Berger Paints at this point of time. Ashish, Berger Paints, what's your view?
No, looks quite positive. The reason, so definitely stock is trading at an all-time high. But if you look at the kind of underperformance the stock has seen, so since 2016 it has been consolidating between 280 to 220 zone, and finally we saw a breakout last few weeks. So I think this trend is going to be on an upside, and we are expecting a target of 335, 340 in a shorter-term time frame. On downside, I believe 300 should be kept as a trading stop loss.
Okay, that's the view. It's a positive view. And Ashish, I'm sorry, Aditya, what's your view on?
No, definitely the stock is in the positive territory, and I would be a buyer in the stock. I would slightly buy lower, close to about 310 is where my entry price will be. I can buy at current levels, then I would do a staggered buying. I buy a little at current levels, and the moment stock falls back to 310, because I think the stock will slightly fall back to 310 to about 38 zone. That is the zone where I'll average again, and I will be a buyer in the stock.
Okay, so a bullish call that's coming in on Berger Paints also. And for the final stock of the day, Jayesh Kilnani joins us again. Jayesh, Colgate, what is Bloomberg telling you now?
So Darshan, Colgate is a very interesting one, because I was just going through the FMCG index. For this month, it has given you an excess of about 3.5%. But on the other hand, Colgate has given you negative return of about 4% this month itself. But what has happened is, the MACD, or the moving average convergence divergence indicator, that has given you a positive crossover. So the bottom panel shows you the MACD indicator, and what you have to essentially look for is the blue line, which crosses above the white line, and that is where it currently is. And also, if you look at the last couple of months, the channel that we have drawn over here, it is trading at the upper end of the channel. So once again, if it breaks above this, then there could be a possibility, along with the MACD indication, that it could trend higher as well. And historically also it has worked well, because in the last 1 year, MACD has resulted in a net profit of about 19 to 20% for Colgate.
Okay, that's the view. If you backtest this, Jayesh, what's the success ratio?
So Darshan, is about 19 to 20% in the last 1 year that this stock has been able to generate on the MACD.
Okay, so that's the view. It's a bullish trend on the MACD that the chart, the terminal is throwing up on Colgate. We'll ask our guest what it means. But remember, Colgate will also report its numbers today, so it may be volatile in today's trade. Dyaneshwar, your view on Colgate?
Yeah, if you look at the Colgate chart structure, so on a higher time frame, like an yearly, so chart is very much bullish. So whenever the higher time frame chart suggests the bullishness, so every 5 to 10% dip as a buying opportunity. So in case of overall chart structure of Colgate, so if you are seeing that in 2018 the stock has given a breakout of 2016's high and consolidating in the range of 1100. So the stocks comes to 1100 and 1070 levels, so that would be a great buying opportunity.
Okay, Aditya, your view on Colgate?
On the monthly chart, stock previous month made a dark cloud cover pattern at the highs, which was close to about 1260. So that's a minor bearish sign for the stock. Having said that, on the daily chart, definitely as the Bloomberg terminal pointed out, there's some bullishness seen in the stock. I'll wait for 1145. That is the level. If it starts to trade above or close above 1145, then I'll play for a minor uptrend of 1170 to about 1180. I wouldn't be too much bullish out here, simply because on the monthly chart there's a huge dark cloud cover pattern that I'm seeing post a significant rally.
Okay, and Ashish, your view on Colgate?
So I think it's a defensive stock, and if you look at in May 2018, the stock made its all-time high at 1281, and since then it has been seeing a sharp correction. But if you look at in 2 months of correction, it has not broken the May 2018 lows, which is a very important data to be seen. So till it doesn't break 1082, which is a low of May 2018, the overall structure is like in a sideways consolidation pattern. Now when you will see a price volume activity, I believe once the stock sustains about 1160, 1170, you will see a lot of pricing momentum coming back to the stock. But definitely at these levels, the risk reward is very favorable, because you have 1080 as your stop loss, which is 50 rupees, so not even 4-5% from these levels, and a strong possibility of this breakout happening and moving towards 1220, 1230. So a good reasonable risk reward at these levels.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on our final stock. But since the Nifty has actually reached a fresh record high, we'll ask our guest which, according to them, is the Nifty 50 stock that they should at least bet on in the near term. Guys, it's coming out of the blue, but I think it's fair that we discuss the Nifty today. Ashish, among the Nifty, you have 50 stocks to select from. Which is the stock on the Nifty that you will bet on?
So HDFC Limited, in fact, in our last chartist show, we covered the stock. The stock was at 1960. Today it is at an all-time high, and I believe that the way the entire structure has been panned out, it has been consolidating since February 2018 to almost July 2018. So almost 5-6 months of consolidation, and then a fresh all-time high. So clearly, I think the stock is poised for a move towards 2100 in a very short-term time frame. So my bet would be HDFC Limited.
Okay, 100 rupee upside in HDFC. Aditya, your
Maruti.
Okay, Maruti. What's the target?
I'm looking at a target of 1150, 11,500 on the stock. Extremely bullish monthly charts.
11,500.
11,500.
So that
yes.
means another 1,500, say 1,700 rupee upside is something that you're
Yes.
saying. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So on the monthly chart, stock has given a massive breakout this month. So far, stock is up 11% on good volumes. Just went into a minor corrective phase. From there, it just started its uptrend. I'm looking at a strong upside of 11,500 on the stock.
Okay, that's a very bold call that's coming in from Ashish on Maruti. And finally, Dyaneshwar.
Yeah, I would go for the market leader, Reliance Industries. So if you look at the overall analysis of the oil and gas sector, so we have seen that the oil and gas sector has got a rally from the 2014, and it is marking alpha from since 2017. The rally is basically started by HPCL and BPCL, and later on the IOC has joined the party, and in 2017, I guess Reliance Industry has given the boost to the oil and gas. But in 2018, we have seen that there is some profit booking into the HPCL and BPCL. But as you compare with the Reliance Industry, it has given a surprise move from the level of near about 600 to we have reached to 1100 mark. So if I look at the yearly chart, so it is clearly showing that the bullishness is there. So every dip could be capitalized as a buying opportunity. I would see the target of near about 1500.
Okay, 1500. So a potential 100 rupee upside move in HDFC, potential 1700 rupee move upside on Maruti. That's something I'll watch out for, and a potential 400-500 rupee move on Reliance Industries. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Ashish, Aditya and Dyaneshwar, thank you for joining me on the special edition of Hot Money. But we're in the midst of earnings season. More construction has aided Asian Paints in the first quarter. The paint maker saw its decorative segment post double-digit growth, which helped offset higher raw material prices. To discuss more about the quarterly results, we are joined by KBS Anand, the MD and CEO of the company. Also joining us and taking the discussion forward is Yash Upadhyay from the research team. Take it away, Yash.
Thanks for that, Darshan. Sir, we are coming on the back of 2 successive quarters of double-digit volume growth, and now with the GST finally being cut from 28% to 18%, how are you seeing the demand environment, and most importantly, can we expect a similar run rate going forward?
If you take the quarter growth, frankly, it's okay. It's not great, because you have to take a CAGR of 2 years rather than look at a quarter independently. So I would only call it an average performance. Given the GST cut, I expect a better than average performance in the years ahead. So, I mean, the CAGR value growth is some 11%, if I'm not right. So that's not great. We would expect it to be a little higher going forward.
Sir, I remember speaking to you in the previous quarter as well, and you had told me that it has been a slower than anticipated recovery in the industrial paint business, especially to the industries that you supply paint to. How are you seeing the demand environment there?
I think we are benefiting a little bit from the GST implementation in the industrial segment, so we are seeing excellent growth, especially in the protective coating, powder coating segments. Maybe the unorganized sector is finding it tough. Profitability is a concern because it takes a little longer to recover inflationary costs of raw materials there compared to the decorative segment, because you have to negotiate with each OEM customer over a period of time. That's how I put it. Demand has been fairly good, but raw material or the bottom line is a little bit of a concern because we are playing a catch-up game continuously.
So there has also been an increase in competition in the South market with the entry of a new player. How have we done there, and have we managed to gain any incremental market share?
I think we are holding our own, is the best I can say. The intensity of competition continues, and matter of fact, it continues everywhere. But we are holding our own, and we are confident of combating it.
So while your domestic business has done very well, it wasn't the greatest of quarters when it comes to your international business. Just wanted to understand what has gone wrong there, and is it just a one-off, or do we see it reversing in the quarters to come?
I have an issue with quarters. Quarters are very difficult to play out by. But one market we see definitely no early reversal is Ethiopia. Essentially because there is a severe foreign exchange crunch, and the government is releasing foreign exchange to us very slowly to import raw materials. Most raw materials for manufacture of paint are imported. As a result, our factory is probably idle more than half the time, simply because we don't have raw materials to produce. We can sell whatever we produce. We continue to be profitable, but profits have dipped simply because the top line has dipped. Egypt didn't have a very good quarter, but we are seeing signs of recovery. I think the next quarter should be better. Bangladesh has gone through a little bit of top line slowdown, early Eid, etc. And the bottom line was affected. Simply raw material prices have gone up sharply. We aren't the market leaders in many markets, and in some of these markets, if the market leader shows no sign of reducing prices, we have difficulty. Sri Lanka was another market badly hit, where we should see recovery. There was a very severe monsoon from the beginning of May, leading to flooding, etc. A lot of the demand, especially in the new company acquired Causeway, which is an auto refinish company, gets severely affected during the rainy season. And as a result, top line was a little lower. We are reasonably confident in most of these markets will be able to recover a fair deal. Ethiopia is definitely a cause of worry.
So in FY18, we had a capex target of 1,200 crore rupees. What will that number be for FY19? And if you can give us an update with respect to your new facilities.
The capex for the year is about 1,000 crores in the standalone. The two new units that we are planning, Mysuru should be commissioned in September this year, and Visakhapatnam in January this year. Both of a capacity of initial capacity of 300,000 KL per annum of water-based paints.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anand, for taking the time out and speaking with us and giving us an update with respect to your results. But stay tuned. On the other side, we bring you Ask BQ.